Alright, so the last video was a testing video. Well, basically, now that I got it open, what I did to fix this was a lot of these wires here are loose. Okay, so that is what it is with those. This one here was loose. This one here was loose. I resoldered it, and then I got epoxy on there. Okay, I'm putting 5-minute epoxy on all these smaller wires here. One, to basically see that it doesn't move. The thing with these things with these small wires, they put them in here. You know, they go in here, they come up, they're up in here where your BBs go, they can get dragged, caught, whatever. It's a pain. So resoldered them, and then I got 5-minute epoxy on there. That's going to keep these wires from wiggling loose. These down here are pretty much, barring that this thing never breaks again, which is very possible. I mean, I could, in theory, if I wanted to, go to each one of these wires here and put a big coat of epoxy on here, but I'm out. So right now I'm not going to do that. But when I get more 5-minute epoxy, I am actually going to epoxy this whole thing here. I might even put a piece of plastic here, right? Epoxy it to the back of the board, and then epoxy here. Once I do that, these wires are never coming off. The main problem with these controllers is the wires pop off because they're soldered on and then they move. My solution to that is putting epoxy on it. What had happened in the other video before I tested it was I took it out, and this here just snaps together. Okay, this is probably the biggest fault with this design. Okay, and that's that this guy, oh great, now it won't come apart. The irony of life. There we go. See this? It just snaps off. And if you look, there's no screws. So what happened was I got everything back together, I took it out of the mag, and it popped open, and all the BB spilled out. So you'll see in the video, it's basically, I'm going to post it anyway so you can hear the noise and hear everything fall out of it. All this stuff here is pressed together. That's probably the stupidest thing ever, when you could just put a screw here or here. There's plenty of areas. When you look at the space, you can put a screw through here to the other side, right, with a peg just like this. Boom, bada bing, bada boom, be done. Same here. Now here's the other thing. If this spring breaks, or this microphone, which seems to be held in place by a separate piece here, if the microphone goes bad, yeah, you want to be able to get this piece out. So I don't want to super glue it. Super gluing it is the easiest fix ever. Okay, so I'm going to put this thing back together. I've already measured. I'll show you again. As you can see, I marked it on the other side. Okay, here lines up with this. There's nothing here. So what I'm going to do right now to make it real easy is I'm going to put this together. I'm going to put this microphone wire up and out of the way like so, because I don't want to drill it. Okay, and move that out of the way. I'm going to close this, and then what I have here, so look at it, make sure everything's good. I can still look at it this way. What I got here is a very long 440 screw and nut. I don't remember if this came from a magazine or from a paintball gun loader. Honestly, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill through all the way through, and then put a nut on the other side. So basically, I need the diameter. We'll just go in millimeters because it's already there. I don't want it any bigger than 2.8, so 3 millimeter. We got our drill bits here. And the smallest one looks like to be this. 2.39, but nah, too small. Next one, maybe this guy. 2.76. That was a 2.88, so 2.75. I'll live with it. Unless this one's the right size I need. I don't want it to be bigger. Nope, 3.2, so that's bigger. So I'm going to go with this one. Put these away. It actually looks like it might be the same size. Does look pretty good. Does match up pretty good. It's a little bigger, but whatever. Truthfully, what I can do then is when I screw it in all the way through to the other side is I'll just tap it. So, make sure my wires are out of the way. I would usually do this on a vise, but then you guys can't see what I'm doing. Line that up, make sure it's straight. Still seem to be straight. All right. And we did not hit the wire. It's definitely better to not have your fingers anywhere near this while you're doing it. So I'm setting a bad example. So there you go. All right, hole and exactly how to not drill a hole. Sorry, I just don't have anything by the... Clean all that out. I'm gonna pop this wire back through. And yeah, you know, don't do that, guys. I don't recommend it, what I just did. And I'll probably say that over and over again, but don't. All right, take advantage of maybe the fact that the hole was a little smaller, because this will help if I thread this through, right? Yes, if we thread it through, that will help. So basically, poor man tap. This screwdriver's a little bit too small, so it's slipping, so I'll use this one. Way better. Now as we get to the other side, looks like we're doing okay. Yeah, looks like we're still in line. Yep, see, we're doing good. We're still in line. So, wow, this is a fat screwdriver. That's way better. All right, so now this one is grabbing too. So as you can see, we did keep it in line. Looks pretty straight from there. Nah, there it's crooked. Ha! All right, so I went off. Once again, don't do what I did, but that's also why it would help to use a drill press. But like I said, I don't have a camera by the drill press, so you're getting to see some good old-fashioned ghetto mod here. All right, I'm gonna do that just finger tight. Okay, now look, here's our nut. I am going to, because things like to vibrate, put just a dab of blue Loctite. I'm a fan of blue Loctite. Put it where I can. There's nothing wrong with putting blue Loctite on anything, unless you yourself like to over tighten stuff. Then maybe you shouldn't use blue Loctite. Maybe you shouldn't use any Loctite. Or how about this? Use blue Loctite. Clean it up because it's messy. Use blue Loctite, but don't over tighten things. There's that too. All right. So let's do that. Tighten that guy just a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's not going to come apart. But as with real life, as I'm showing it, I didn't put the door in. So guess what? Perfect example on why I did not super glue it. Because I got to put the door in. So yes. The simple mod for the Shogun AK loader. All right, let's break this guy out a little bit. No, because I tapped it. This is good. This is working out really well. Oh, this is doing what it's supposed to do. And if I did it, watched every part as I did it, look, see, perfect. Got that there. Let's move this guy out just a little bit. Right. Okay, it's going to back this one out just a little bit more. Put you back in. Allow you down here. Put the door in. Door is in. That's in. I'm going to thread this thing back through. All right, finger tight. Where's the nut? Another little drop of blue Loctite, but where'd my nut go? That's the real question. There it is. All right, door's in. This is in, that works. Microphone's in. Door opens. Tighten this guy just a little bit. Finger tight. It's pretty clean. It's not the, you know, I mean, it doesn't look factory for sure, but it's fairly clean. So then, because it ain't perfect, let's do this. Let's go over here and get a cutoff wheel with the Dremel. Right. Hopefully you guys can see this. Once again, I'm doing this different than how I would if I wasn't trying to show you. Now there is a benefit to cutting it off that way, okay? I'm not gonna take this apart to show you, but what'll happen sometimes is guys will measure, cut, and then cut the screw before they have it in. Now, you can do that, but sometimes you can damage the threads. So, if you want to avoid damaging the threads, just do what I just did. Or get your measurement, cut it, and screw your nut on. Now this thing's gonna be really hot, but as you can see, I can still get it off. Alright, so we're good. The other thing, so you tighten this heat's going to get this thing to really just kind of bond more. But there you go. If you don't like that little silver part, you know what you can do? Get a Sharpie. I'm not joking, Sharpies are amazing. Get a Sharpie, cover that up with a Sharpie. But here we are. That's the little mod that I wound up having to do so that I can finish the testing video to show you guys that I've actually put this whole thing back together and fixed it and got it to work. So while we're at it, let's put this back together, clean up this mess. Okay. So like I said, what I did was I super glued these raceway in place. These two pieces here, these two pieces make one raceway, super glued those in place. Resoldered the wires onto this connector. Epoxy so they don't break off. I put epoxy on this one too because it didn't. Now this is what I recommend. Again, epoxy, 5-minute epoxy on all of these. 5-minute epoxy is not going to conduct, but it's going to keep your wires from coming loose. Anywhere you see these little solder points, throw epoxy on there. It's not going to hurt it, right? You spend 15-20 minutes putting epoxy on everything, letting it cure. You don't even have to, who cares what it looks like. You're going to keep all your wires from not breaking. And some of these things, trying to solder these points on here, for somebody who knows how to solder, not a bad job. Somebody who doesn't, pain in the ass, okay? So like I also recommend here, I would glue a piece of polystyrene or a piece of plastic here, epoxy that, then put epoxy over these, okay? don't have it plugged in, but by the way, epoxy is not going to conduct electricity. So you epoxy coat these wires here, none of these are going to come off. So we're going to put this thing back together. All right. You've got channels here for wires. Okay. I put the microphone wire there. Let's see if I can get my fat tummy to not go in the way. Blow some dust out just in case we got any. Keep that circuit there. These wires here, these 3 wires here, also need to come out. I don't know why they did it that way. I'm not really a fan of it, but I guess that's where they thought they could do it. I guess it's because they want the control wire to be closer to the trigger. So, but I would have really, honestly, would have much preferred a raceway. They also kind of soldered the wires in there in a really weird way, but hopefully you guys are seeing all this. These 2 yellow control wires go to the positive wire. Control wires, or switch legs, how, if you want to call it that. The actually proper term for the yellow is switch legs from the looks of it. Okay, close that gently. I'm going to look inside here now. See, this is one of the things I'm not a fan of. Your BBs get stored in here, and so are these wires. Okay, so I can push them down and out of the way. You've got an arm here that goes back and forth. You see that? It's actually grabbing the wire. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that off. See, so much potential for goof up. Okay, I'm going to keep that red wire down there. These 2 wires, because they're not the right length, or they're not a length I would have used. Right? This is where your headaches can come from. All right, you got a red, a black. So you got your charging wires, 2 switch legs. Close that. Make sure all the wires are in. They seem to be in. So push them back. Move this arm. No wires hitting this arm. There's an arm in here that flaps. You know what? Look again. See this? This arm moves up and down. So the weight of the BBs, in theory, is supposed to drop this down so you can load a whole crap load of BBs in there. And then the arm, you know what? Here. See? As it sits here, the weight of the BBs is supposed to get this arm to fall. That gives you all that room for BBs, okay, while it's sitting. Then, as the weight goes, it slowly raises up, okay, keeping the BBs falling into the tray. All right, so that's what that's for. So when I go in there, I want to make sure no wires are going to get caught on that either. So it's just really, it's just carefully. Part of me is regretting running out of epoxy and not being and not going to the store to get some, because I really would like to epoxy more of these wires in place, but I'm not going to worry about it. So there we go. Not right now, because we're just going to test it, and I want to go play BB Wars tomorrow at Warped, because I haven't been able to go, because in California, when we have rain, it rains, and it's got to rain during the week. It can't rain on the weekend, apparently. I mean, it can't rain during the week. It's got to rain on the weekend. So that's annoying, because I haven't BB Warred in a long time, and I've been fixing lots of stuff, and I need to get my BB Wars. And if it was another weekend, I'd be going out and shooting people with a paintball gun. Either way. So there we go. Now that's in. I've done that mod. I've looked at these wires. I got all these wires tucked in. You know, I could actually, in theory, probably make a raceway that would cover these, but we're not going to do that. So now this guy here is now secure. It won't come apart. Connected the wires. Okay, once again, it's annoying that these wires have to float inside. I don't like it, but whatever. It's not a perfect loader. Probably has something to do with manufacturing costs and various other things on why they did it that way. Put in these 2 screws. I've already hooked it up to the charger, so we know the charger works. Ugh. Alright, so we put it on auto. Awesome, it's working. Put it on sound control. Awesome, sound control is working. Off is off. All right, next thing we got to do here. This is sadly a very annoying part of this, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm gonna load this thing. Loading it is mildly annoying, as you can see. You got that little raceway there, so you just kind of hope the BBs all start to fall in. All right, so there they go. Yeah, they probably could have designed a better door. But it's a very clean looking box mag. This actually has way better electronics than the A&K. The microphone seems to be a little better. The microphone on the A&Ks go out really easy. I did find a place for them, and so I do get replacement mics for them. Replacement mics for the A&Ks are going to be about $5 a piece. But that's not including installing them. But you know, if you want, I'm out of stock right now. I'll be getting more stock in probably in about 2 weeks of the microphones. You can always message the shop on Facebook, New Edge Sports, Paintball, Airsoft, and Hobbies, and say, hey, I need a microphone for my A&K or any other box mag. The microphones I have are running at a nice low ohm. They only require 0.5 volts, and they're really good. All right, so that's got some BBs in it. Okay, so now we're gonna hit the auto button. Here we go, we're good. Now, I will be back with the shooting video. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Was a pain in the butt. No longer a pain in the butt. And yes, with lots of tenacity, another man's junk can be an airsofter's treasure. All right, guys, later.